Those whoresons. Forcing my own subjects to fight us.
Catch! I smell a leak.
Order!
Yeah.
May disgrace ends here! Time I wiped it away!
Ha!
Your life is mine now!
Your Grace, if we begin killing the overseers, the laborers will turn against them.
Eh? Wise choice.
The overseers are dead, Your Grace.
The Lyrians handily dispatched the Nilfgaardian overseers, more trained in the ways of the whip than the sword. Those who survived now found themselves shackled in the very chains they'd forced the peasants to wear. Peasants. Oh, unfortunate souls. The cruel labor in the quarry had taken its toll. They stood before the Queen, shrunken to skin and bone.
Your Grace, them black-clads treated us like dogs, stripped us of dignity. So we beg you, give us arms. Let us march neath your banner. 'Tis a chance at revenge we seek, we want.
Reynard leaned towards Meave and spoke in a scarcely audible whisper.
Majesty, they've knout. Not boots, not even foot wraps. To equip the lot, train them, would cost a small fortune.
"'Tis true. They've nought to their names.
Said the Queen.
Have few skills to offer and little strength. But to look in their eyes is to know they'll never flee. Never throw down their arms. Such recruits are worth coin in any amount.
Emaciated, downtrodden, the peasants met the Queen's offer with gratitude. They... Meave now reached Willowhain, a settlement she knew well, for it lay near Waldenrad, where in peacetime she would go to escape her queenly duties and enjoy the thrill of a hunt.
Pheasant, grouse, and partridge in abundance. You will see,
said Meave in muted excitement, pivoting in her saddle to face Gascon. Alas, it appeared the war had ravaged even these woods. Where life had stirred and grown tall before, only resinous trunks remained. And the village itself had lost its quaint allure, surrounded now by a double stockade, a golden sun fluttering above it.
Bastards couldn't even let the damn trees be.
Just a dismal scene. Her once cherished wood, and it weighed heavily on the Queen's spirits. Waldenrad had been a place removed, where she could rest and forget the weight of her crown. Reynard's voice roused me from her sad reverie.
A Nilfgaardian garrison holds the...
Give the order to attack, but none is to play the hero. We shall breach or topple the stockade together. Senseless to perish so close to home.
Reynard nodded.
The time has come to purge these devils from our homes! Follow me!
Go, hop, hop.
Wise choice.
Alba! Catch!
I smell a leak.
Hey? Order! Jäveln ass.
Ever have a stone knock out one of your teeth?
Your life is mine now. Having a thing, all right? Hey, gloire!
I'd hoped we could solve this some other way.
Trouvé, gloire!
Her Majesty knows what she's doing.
Not supposed to be any smoke.
Wait, you're serious?
What do you want of me?
Rivia is ours! Ours!
When the battle dust had settled, Niamh instructed her soldiers to gather Willowhane's inhabitants. Upon spotting their armed liberators, the common folk cowered in terror.
No longer need you fear.
The Queen shouted.
No longer must you worry about homes and loved ones. The war's nearly done.
Of a sudden, a villager dropped to his knees and raised his hands to the heavens in supplication.
Trache! Guide my Queen!
Niamh broke off oddly, baffled by the man's outburst. And then it dawned on her. The Rivians of Willowhane had been driven away. Taking their place, Nilfgaardian settlers brought in to transform the near-subsistence plots of local peasants into great estates producing for the Empire. Reynard managed to grasp the essence of the Nilfgaardian peasants' frantic pleas.
They wish to stay. They've come to love the land. They pledged to renounce their emperor, swear allegiance to you as their rightful ruler.
Niamh had stopped listening. She turned to survey the hamlet. The walls of the huts freshly whitewashed, tools neatly arranged, flower beds well tended. A young girl of 6 or 7 summers peered out from her hiding place in a sunflower patch.
Your Majesty?
Asked Reynard, having noted that Meave's mind had wandered.
What are your orders? What shall we do?
They can stay on 2 conditions. Tell them. For 15 years, they'll pay double the tax. And if any of the previous inhabitants return, they're to be given their huts, lands, and any crops produced in their absence without delay.
The Nilfgaardian settlers accepted the terms with relief. Meave's soldiers with markedly less enthusiasm. As the force left Willowhane, the troops made a show of knocking aside any food or drink the peasants offered.
Ever have a stone knock out one of your teeth?
This could hurt.
I've hit the white of an eye from half a league away. Bigger they are, easier they are to target. Thing about slings, they hide well.
Never had your kneecaps broken.
Catch!
I think you'll really like this one. Elven Blarney.
What do you want of me?
We must trust each other.
Hey?
Water as the poison.
Make love, not war.
Wait, you're serious?
The Morrowind drink with our forefathers!
Meve spied the outline of Malabon Castle on the horizon and turned dour. True, no golden suns waved atop its towers, yet that did not mean those within supported her. Malabon belonged to House Obert, long in conflict with Meve's own, and with Meve herself.
Behind their ramparts. Do you see them, Reynard?
Asked Meve, shaking her head.
Countless ballistae, collecting dust, while war rages all around.
Perhaps the Oberts will lend us aid.
Reynard replied.
True, you've been at odds with them in the past, but perhaps now, faced with a common foe.
A common foe?
Snorted the Queen.
You mean Nilfgaard, to whom they opened their gates? Caldwell, whom they supported?
For they were convinced the Empire would win this war, and resistance pointless. Yet you have shown all the North the Blackclads can be defeated. So perhaps they shall forget old wrongs.
The things I do for the good of my realm.
Meve sighed.
So be it. Reynard, send a runner to the castle. Tell the Oberts their queen seeks a word.
Moments later, the castle's heavy iron gate creaked open. Meve rode into the cobblestone courtyard, where Margravine Greta, head of the house, greeted her. Although greeted is perhaps not the right word, for Lady Greta granted her only a barely perceptible nod.
What can I help you with, Meve?
The war, my dear. The one being fought outside the walls of your castle.
Greta smiled to herself, then intertwined her brittle, ring-covered fingers.
I'm afraid that's impossible.
It is a vassal's sacred duty to serve her liege, and
my liege is King Willem.
Greta calmly retorted.
Against whom you have raised arms.
Willem is a usurper. He unlawfully stripped me of my crown.
The Council of Peers deprived you of your crown.
Greta said, pursing her eyes into thin slits.
Fearing you would drag this realm into a senseless war. A fear which, it is now abundantly clear, was well-founded.
I have returned home a victor. I defeated the Nilfgaardians in Angren.
Due to a stroke of good luck. You think defeating Caldwell means you can defeat the Emperor as well? Madness, my dear Meve.
I shall go,
the Queen said.
and I shall take your war machines with me.
Did I not express myself clearly? I have refused you any aid.
And I have stopped asking.
Meve said, drawing her weapon.
Soldiers! Attack!
Seeing that a battle was imminent, Greta Obert took refuge in the keep. The Margravine soldiers stood ready to defend her life to the very end.
You and Ebdahi, you are no different.
Hey?
Again and again and again.
Ever have a stone knock out one of your teeth?
This could hurt.
You and Ebdahi, you are no different.
Hey?
Left, right, left, right.
Ever have a stone knock out one of your teeth?
Again and again and again.
Our ballista, your command.
He walk, you dirty tart.
Have it the white of an eye from half a league away.
Back to the dust whence you came!
Army's a waste of time for one like me.
Bigger they are, easier they are to target.
For Lydia! Long live me!
Thing about slings, they hide well.
Nothing personal, I assure you.
Death is only the beginning!
Discipline shall bring us victory!
Should have listened to me, old lady. I'm a won't say.
Company! Forward march!
Watch your heads!
Congratulations. You've defeated an old woman.
Shocked by this sudden attack, the Oberts never stood a chance of resisting Neve. Realizing their inevitable defeat, Margravine Greta tried to escape, but her horse, frightened by the tumult of battle, tossed her from the saddle and bolted. Neve left Malabon Castle strengthened by the Oberts' war machines, but in dour spirits. She understood that even if she won the war and chased the Nilfgaardians behind the Yaruga, she would still have enemies left on her land. Mee's force reached Cavaldon, a small, run-down town.
The Blackclads, they've a strong garrison in place,
Proclaimed her scouts upon returning from a foray.
and they stand prepared for a siege. Their stores overflow, and we see ballistas, scorpions.
Cavaldon can be taken,
Began Reynard hesitantly.
but not without losses. Considerable losses.
A retreat. Is that what you advise?
I fear the soldiers wouldn't take to such a course. They're eager, Your Grace. They've a fire in them. Order a retreat and you could devastate morale.
Our losses may be heavy,
Said Mee, drawing her sword.
but I'll make certain the vile invader suffers even more. Order the troops to prepare. We will attack.
Soon after, the Lyrians moved on Cavaldon, war drums rumbling in step to their march. Upon the walls, the Nilfgaardians stood poised to defend.
I won't leave a single city to these invader scum! Valyria! For Rivia!
Ennard Fien! We must bring down their walls! Crush them! Nilfgaard!
This could hurt.
In retreat!
Wise choice.
My spirit's willing and how, but these damn boots are killing me.
Order!
That was not in the spell books.
Ever have a storm knock out one of your teeth?
Coin never stinks, no matter how rank the pouch.
Your life is mine now. Go, hop, hop. Yes.
Have it the white of an eye from half a league away.
We did it, Your Grace. The city is ours.
The Nilfgaardians had indeed prepared well, with grapples to repel hook ladders from the walls and long spears to rain down upon attackers far below. Niamh managed on the fourth attempt to breach the defences, but did so scrambling over the corpses of her own men. The Queen was in the field tent when Reynard arrived with surprising news. To be heard over the groans of the wounded, he had to raise his voice.
Your Grace, a delegation of townsfolk. They seek an audience urgently.
Dozens of burghers stood before the tent. Between them and the Queen, a man knelt in shackles. His face was blooded as if he'd endured a vicious beating just moments before.
Who's this?
Our blacksmith, Todor.
Snarled a priestess in a frayed robe.
He betrayed you, Your Grace. Soon after the Nilfgaardians arrived, within hours in truth, he offered his labor and strength. They didn't even need to ask. Forged arms and armor for them, all for imperial gold.
Niamh gripped the beaten man's beard, tugged upwards, and looked him in the eyes.
Did you forge the hooks and the tips for those spears?
I did, Your Grace.
It was fine work.
Growled the Queen.
Damned fine.
Show him mercy, milady!
Cried a withered old man in a flour-spattered apron.
When the black-clad bastards captured my son, they were eager to hang him. Todor spoke for him, saved his life.
He helped me too!
Hollered a woman in the crowd.
I were hungry. He shared what little he had.
The townsfolk began shouting over one another. Some told of the blacksmith's noble deeds. Others labelled him a traitor, deserving of a cruel and violent end. Niamh turned back towards the field hospital, pondering the case, then spotted her soldiers' corpses laid out in rows. Had it not been for Todor, there might not have been so many.
"20 soldiers died today, wresting Cavalden from Nilfgaard's grip,"
said Niamh, her tone cold and unforgiving.
"'Twas your iron that felled them. 'Twill be your blood that pays the debt. 5 lashes for each of the fallen."
Todor's torturers were several, as no one man's arm could complete 100 blows. Amazingly, Todor survived the ordeal, But his body had been broken. He'd never put hammer to anvil again, and spent the rest of his days a beggar.
He weren't a bad person, milady. He strayed, aye, but deserved no such fate.
Your Majesty, the hut's untouched. Ripe grain in the fields, 'tis hard to believe. I feared we'd have another Edirn here, with the Blackclads setting fire to all.
I feared nothing of the sort. Nilfgaard's not stupid. Lands it aims to hold, it doesn't destroy. And Willem did bend the knee to the Emperor.
Hundred and 102, 103.
This could hurt. Retreat!
Hey?
Coin never stinks, no matter how rank the pouch.
Order!
That will do.
Ever have a storm knock out one of your teeth?
Obedience or the lash! Watch your heads! Back in line!
No time for that!
Move!
Have it the white of an eye from half a league away.
Ah, this one's got spirit.
So much anger and suffering. For what?
Catch!
Broadhead now loomed before Meve and her force. Once famous for its glowing forges and clanking manufactories, the city now stood silent. Why, you might ask? Because Mahakam. Decades past, it had opened its gates to human merchants and dwarven arms, exquisitely crafted and not nearly as dear as those made by man. The caravans had simply stopped coming to Broadhead. When its black-clad garrison spotted the Lyrians approaching, they'd hastily fled, left the city's gates open wide. Yet, they did not leave empty-handed. Their convoy comprising at least a dozen wagons loaded ostensibly to the hilt.
With what might they have fled?
With something damn heavy,
replied Gascon, squinting his eyes.
Look at this. 2 horse.
What they've taken from my city,
began the Queen.
They've taken from me, and I will have it back. Follow me!
Meve spurred her horse and galloped off in pursuit of the fleeing caravan. When the Blackclads
Whatever you carry belongs to me!
They gain ground! Dal Seifel!
Wise choice.
I smell a leak.
Yeah! Yeah!
Order!
You mad? Don't shake that!
My boots got sand aplenty in them.
life is mine now. For Mahakam!
And just when you thought things were about to get dull.
To thee, Nigloire! Alba!
Have it the white of an eye from half a league away.
Nigloire!
Enough! I refuse to die for these scraps!
Meve personally, and none too gently, shackled the Nilfgaardian commander, a young nobleman with a precisely trimmed moustache. Like many noble Imperials, he spoke fluent common.
The wagons. What's in them, Captain?
Scrap, Your Majesty.
The Imperial promptly replied. Noting the Queen's confusion, he elaborated.
To be melted down and recast into arrowheads and spear tips. Our engineers originally planned to use the foundries in Broadhead, yet these proved too primitive. We were ordered to remove the scrap, take it elsewhere.
Any pride from the victory vanished in an instant, and Meve swelled with anger, but also with shame. The shame came from realizing that to the invader her realm was naught more than a weak, underdeveloped backwater. Meve slammed the chest she'd opened shut.
Blast it! Back to Broadhead. Let's ride.
Crumbling walls, shattered windows, rotted wood. Broadhead was bleak, a dull shadow of its former self. As the Lyrians entered, the somber townsfolk glared at the arrivals and uttered not a word. Meve resolved to address the crowd.
Folk of Broadhead, you're free at last. The Nilfgaardian occupation is done.
Aye, and a new one starts now. Are you madman? Don't you recognize our banners? The Lyrian army stands before you. Oh, I recognize banners. Served neath them as a sergeant 15 long years. And then I came back to my hometown. Know what I found? Hardship and squalor, your grace. All had gone to shite. On account of damn dwarves. Been flooding Rivia with their metal goods for years now. Us smiths don't so much as light their pipes in their foundries no more. You call yourselves the Lyrian army. Colours and banners confirm it. Well, what about your arms? Weren't forged in us fires, but in Mahakams. By us worst, so what freedom's it you're giving us, your grace? Freedom to beg in common, not in Nilfgaard's mongrel tongue? Beg? What do you want about, man? There's no levy on goods from Mahakam. But without it, us workshops don't stand a chance. And ye, your grace, you wear their armour, bear their arms, and bring bearded bastards to our...
There's a war on. I do whatever I must to win.
Aye, Majesty. And you run up a debt with dwarves. A debt you'll need to repay. At the cost of your own craftsmen. Enough. Silence. Consider yourself lucky you've a merciful queen. I'd have had your head off by now.
Before Meve could leave the market square, Barnabas politely interjected.
Frankly speaking, there's a bit of truth to what the man says.
I'm perfectly aware of that. But what...
I don't mean to toot my own horn, but perhaps I...
Do tell how.
Everything your folk make here, the dwarves of Mahakam make twice as fast and twice as well. You must find a so-called niche
are your speciality.
At the risk of being immodest, exactly. Besides, it might serve the cause of peace to show the folk here, non-humans...
I'll consider it, Barnabas. I shall think...
The time came to leave Broadhead, so Meve summoned her advisors, eager to hear their counsel. They put forth ideas, many... After careful deliberation, the Queen approved Barnabas's proposal. He would manage the city's ailing industry and seek to restore it to health.
Barnabas, just please, do your best not to blow it all up.
Don't you worry, Your Grace. The only boom in this town's future is that of the economic sort.
At first, the Rivian townsfolk were skeptical of the Queen's decision. But Barnabas's schemes bore immediate fruit. Soon, the foundries and manufactories were bustling with life.
Now, I'm no ally of gnomes or any freaks, but this Barnabas bloke is not a bad apple.
The wind howls like a ghastly apparition.
$152, $154. Scrubbing duty again? Oh, gods.
Ever have a storm knock out one of your seats?
Wise choice.
Have it the white of an eye from half a league away.
Order!
Kamikaze!
New orders? No?
Bigger they are, easier they are to target.
Now, how did that incantation go?
Watch your heads!
Of course, as you wish, Master.
Company! Forward march! Your life is mine now. Wise choice. We must trust each other.
Scheiß! In! Zwei!
It's not too late to walk away.
Stick 'em up! High as the clouds! Now! Ah!
Life had me ploughed, now here I'm marching proud.
Aye.
This harvest will be reaping black clad. There's a time to reap, a time to sow, and a time to die.
You can pay the toll in one of two ways. In silver.
See if he's hid any coin in his pockets! Or his owls!
Or in blood.
If anyone asks, there's been a mistake. I'm no mage. You've not seen me.
Life had me ploughed. Of course I'll manage. I trade a full week. Now here I'm marching proud.
There's been a mistake.
I'm marching proud.
Greetings. There's been a mistake. I'm no mage.
When Meve saw Reynard's usually stoic visage rent by a half-moon grin, she knew he brought particularly good news.
Your Grace, our toil has borne fruit. The liberated towns of Rivia have hired an outfit of mercenaries conveyed to your command, along with wishes for a speedy victory.
Meve cast an eye over the long column of hired soldiers, taking in their top-notch arms and battle-hardened faces. Her gaze lingered longer on their banners, surprised to see some bearing the Caldwell crest, suggesting Dragomir had proven worthy of the trust she had extended him.
With support like this to bolster our ranks, our way grows easier,
said the Queen with a smile.
Send the townsmen a letter. Say their queen thanks them for their devotion to the realm, and when the time comes, she shall reward them fittingly.
Rivia...
The castle of Rivia now loomed before the Lyrians. Water surrounded it on 3 sides, and dual defensive walls studded with podgy turrets completed its perimeter. It was famously difficult to take, and had changed hands only once, a few months before, when traitors opened its gates to the Nilfgaardians. Foreign banners waved upon the walls. The Golden Sun and General Epdahi's crest on Rivia's walls, the walls of home. There was somber silence among the troops, the glee and pride of many triumphs suddenly gone.
Your Majesty,
began Reynard in a reassuring tone.
We needn't strike quickly. We've time on our side. To prepare would be wise. 2 months, I wager, perfectly enough. We stop supplies from getting through. They'll capitulate, I've little doubt. Or at worst, be too weak to defend the fortress.
Reynard's reasoning was sound. There was no need for urgency. Meve had the upper hand for the first time in this war.
These invaders have grown fond of Rivia Castle,
said Meve.
So let them stay and rot. Reynard, erect road barricades and guard posts between city and citadel. Gascon, seize all boats, barges, anything that floats. Stop anything from entering from the lake. Move!
Soon Rivia Castle stood isolated from the world outside its walls. All roads leading to it were blocked, impassable. Fishing boats, a cordon, embraced the fortress on Loch Escalot. The lanterns on their bows glowed like fireflies in summer. Then, an emissary from the castle brought a message for the Queen. General Epdahi wished to meet, face to face, and half the way between the citadel and the Lyrian camp.
Well, well, some general,
smirked Gascon.
We've barely snapped the trap shut, yet he's already shaking in his knickers.
Meve proceeded to the meeting point without delay. A lone rider soon appeared on the horizon. He came adorned in rich black robes, their golden trim shimmering in stray sunbeams. She'd seen him before.
You came as I requested. Good. Very good.
I couldn't possibly refuse such a courteous invitation, especially as compared to your previous missive. The art of diplomacy, you've improved your grasp.
Your realm fell quickly. I expended little strength in seizing it. This left me much time to study. But please, we must set aside this bitterness. I'd like to formally welcome you to Rivia, dear Queen.
I see you've readily adopted the role of gracious host in my home.
In point of fact, I've grown fond of the castle. Fortifications impressive, atypical of the north. Not so your brave soldiers, whom we shall pick off like ducks. I pity them, in fact.
Dry your eyes, General. Rest easy. I've no plans for a quick assault. I shall first wait to hear the rumbling in your bellies.
Remarkable. You truly believe you can win this war? I've not been in the north long, but have discovered something all the same. You don't grasp complex ideas. You know Nilfgaard is large, but your minds don't fathom its enormity. You see, for every army you defeat, another will come to take its place. One larger and better equipped than the one before. Even now, as we so pleasantly chat, Army Group East is en route to lift your siege, due to arrive tomorrow. And you know what will happen when they do. They will crush you against your own castle's walls, like the maddening flea you are.
A charming analogy, but get to the point. Why'd you ask for this meeting?
For this very reason. I wish to see you with my own eyes.
They did not see enough in Edirn? Are you such an admirer of feminine beauty?
You flatter yourself. No, in you, I see an animal. Game. Prey. And as the hunt's due to start soon, I needed a more detailed image of the beast I'll be looking for.
You? On a hunt? Those delicate hands have never held spear or bow. Nout sharper than a letter opener, I wager. Tomorrow you will not be on a hunt. Tomorrow you will be at war. You best pray to all your gods you don't find me.
Without awaiting a response from General Dahi, Neve pivoted and turned toward camp. Her pace was quick, despite a heavy heart. Maeve's closest advisors already awaited her in the command tent. In a few brief words, the Queen gave a report of the meeting, only with great...
An army, an immense one, approaches from the west. If we meet in open battle, we stand not a chance.
Damn it! Why did no one warn me?
Our scouts were discovered, captured.
We must flee? Not at all heroic, I admit, but sure as hell better than being trampled into the dirt.
Easily said, but for a problem. Our force is chiefly infantry. The army that draws near includes cavalry, several regiments. We cannot hope to escape them. We cannot hope to hide.
What do you advise?
We've two options. Capitulate.
Out of the question.
Or take the castle. Tonight.
Reynard, you know me. First into the fire, and ever eager to draw Imperial blood. But that would be madness. The castle can't be taken by conventional assault, if at all. And to have but
Riviera's walls are unassailable, I fully agree. But there's more than one way to take any fort, and this fort too.
I think I like where this is going.
I know this citadel like no one else. I know its one potential weakness. The boat landing.
Wait. That narrowest of piers between the two turrets? The one where the fishermen would land?
The same. As I'm sure you recall, Your Grace, at that narrow pier's end stands a narrow door leading straight into the fortress. A small detachment could approach unnoticed, overwhelm any sentries, and get inside.
What then?
They would need to pass through the fort to the winch in the guardhouse, open the gate for the rest of the force.
Reynard, I'll be honest. It sounds right mad.
Perhaps, but as options go, we have it alone.
And I'm to choose to send folk there? Most certainly to die.
You needn't choose anyone, for I volunteer, and will take only those willing to do the very same.
Bloody wretched plan.
And you've a better one, do?
Of course. I'll...
Beg your pardon?
Face it, Reynard, you couldn't sneak past a corpse. Sound like a bloody tambourine in that armour. Apart from which, you're Maeve's right hand. So you ought to be by her side when the fighting starts.
Firstly, Reynard, I'm grateful. Well done, my friend.
Thank you, Your Grace.
But truth be told, I did indeed hear you walking to the tent from the other side of camp. And yes, you know Riviera Castle better than anyone else. But the assault must transpire silently. Gascon will lead the force.
Understood, Your Grace.
Cheers, Maeve. I'll try not to disappoint.
You won't, I'm sure. God speed you on your way, and please, try your damnedest not to die.
Gascon hand-picked his men, those most adept with daggers, not swords. Noiselessly, they glided through the dark toward the castle, the light of its lanterns blurred by the evening mist. Maeve watched anxiously as the boats glided away, her heart pounding in her ears. All depended on this mission. The fate of her realms, perhaps all the North, the lives of her troops, and her own. Now there was naught she could do but wait.
Good luck.
She was. The Lyrians prepared for battle, their silence absolute, in darkness, illuminated only by the pale light of the moon. Maeve was restless. She paced nervously in a circular pattern, awaiting the signal they'd agreed upon.
Blast, it's taking long.
Finally, a torch's faint glow appeared atop the towering walls. It disappeared, then glowed again, and one more time around. Maeve leapt in the air, and as she did so, barely stifled a cry of utter joy.
They made it! It worked!
Moments later, Lyrians in the hundreds burst from the trees. The Nilfgaardian defenders loaded their catapults and ballistae. They did so slowly. Then they heard chains, grinding and clinking, and the sound sent shivers down their spines. Bewildered, they watched the main gate rise as the attacking force rushed forth.
A chase! A Quan Aen Lyrian!
General Epdahi dispatched an elite unit to take back the Winch at once. Yet he saw this was in vain and all was lost when Meve had begun the day known as a great warrior. Yet by night's end, legend was the cloak she wore. Her shield stopped powerful blow after blow as her blade found gaps in her foe's black armor. At first, Nilfgaardians scoured the fray in search of the Queen, hoping to prove great heroes. Soon, she was their chief scourge, and they began to flee before her blade that sung their... What was this extraordinary vigor that surged through Meve? Naturally, she wished to liberate her castle and realm, drive off the invaders, defeat the arrogant General Epdahi. But in that moment, above all else, she longed to fight her way through to the guard. Meve had expected the worst, a bloodbath, piles of corpses. Yet all in the guardhouse was eerily quiet and calm. The door to the winch room lay shattered, true, but this was the one sign there'd been any sort of struggle. What happened here? She thought. Cautiously, she entered, looking, searching for any trace of Gascon and his fighters. Instead, she spotted Willem, curled up in a corner, clutching his bloodied belly, his fingers not enough to stop all the holes.
Willem, what happened here?
My wrongs. I sought to right them.
Wheezed the prince.
Please, forgive me.
The young prince choked on this last word, did not manage to utter it, before his eyes went dull. Moments later, her men entered the room to find the queen kneeling, pounding the wall with her fists, her eyes Gascon pushed his way through the other foot soldiers. He knelt beside the queen and whispered what had happened. His unit had not managed to reach the gate in time, but Willem had. Upon seeing Lyrian forces converging on the queen rose, her fists clenched, her shoulders rigid, her knuckles white. Her face betrayed no sorrow, no despair, just rage, hot as a forge, immeasurable.
Now's not the time to mourn.
Seethed Meve, struggling to stay calm.
Now's the time for war, for slaughter, revenge. With victory today, we'll recover our home, return to our kin and set our blades aside at last. Yet until victory is ours, they must drink. Drink greedily of Nilfgaardian blood!
The Lyrians were at the brink, near their breaking point. They'd followed Meve for thousands of miles, over snow-clad peaks, through forbidding swamps. They'd fought, survived countless battles at her side. And though their gazes were now weary, she knew they'd follow her into fire.
Your Grace, the Blackclads, they've holed themselves up in the...
This is the end, Epdahi. Do you hear me? I shall stick your head on a pike!
Archers, let it be night. Obscure the sun with arrows.
This could hurt. Watch your heads!
Thing about slings, they hide well.
I must thank you. Your fortress has superbly solid walls. Nilfgaard!
Hey?
Eddard Fane!
Quiet, or the Commissar will hear.
Wait, you're serious?
Enough! I do not need to hear this. Kill her!
In retreat!
Fools! I'm surrounded by fools!
You must sweat like a swine in that jacket.
Warum?
There's a time to reap, a time to sow, and a time to die.
Ever have a stone knock out one of your teeth?
Diabel, that ass.
Brach! Scheiß! In! Zwei!
Everything all right?
Her Majesty is exceptional.
Order will triumph! It must triumph!
Make love, not war.
Off to the front yet again.
Her Majesty knows what she's doing.
God is free! blood washes away all shame!
I warned you.
Have it the white of an eye from half a league away.
Quiet, or the Commissar will hear.
Bigger they are, easier they are to target.
Brach! Scheiß! In! Zwei!
When will you ever learn?
This is the end, Ebdahi. Do you hear me? I shall stick your head on a pike!
Watch your heads!
Nothing personal, I assure you.
Head out, Fiend!
I must thank you. Your fortress has superbly solid walls.
Cats out!
Enough! I do not need to hear this. Kill her! Archers, let it be night. Obscure the sun with arrows.
Infiltrate!
There's a time to reap, a time to sow, and a time to die.
You must sweat like a swine in that jacket.
Thing about slings, they hide well.
The able them ass.
Off to the front yet again.
Hey?
Quiet, or the commissar will hear.
Ever have a stone knock out one of your teeth?
I'd hoped we could solve this some other way.
From half a league away.
Brach! Scheiß! In! Zwei! That was not in the spell books. your kneecaps broken.
Catch!
Barbarians.
I smell a leak.
On Handor!
Easier they are to target.
Aye.
Notice! All roads lead to Nilfgaard.
We must trust each other.
the end, Ebdahi. Do you hear me? I shall stick your head on a pike!
Nothing personal, I assure you.
The Morrow drink with our forefathers!
In the truth!
Ever have a storm knock out one of your teeth?
I must thank you. Your fortress has superbly solid walls.
Enarfian!
What do you want of me?
On Handor!
Enough! I do not need to hear this. Kill her!
For Mahakam!
Trouver les gloires!
I warned you.
Warum?
Toi and Katza!
Fools! I'm surrounded by fools!
I smell a leak.
You mad? Don't shake that!
Inarin Yalde Krolfair.
Brach! Scheiß! In! Zwei!
That bit's the white of an eye from half a league away.
Archers, let it be night. Obscure the sun with arrows.
Bigger they are, easier they are to target.
Egreto dum anime est, spes est.
Her Majesty is exceptional.
Off to the front yet again.
Cork it.
Thing about slings, they hide well.
Quiet, or the Commissar will hear.
Make love, not war.
Brach! Scheiß! In! Zwei!
Her Majesty knows what she's doing.
That was not in the spell books.
Never had your kneecaps broken.
This could hurt.
Off to the front yet again.
This is the end, Ebdahi. Do you hear me? I shall stick your head on a pike!
quick and painful this'll be.
Have it the white of an eye from half a league away.
I must thank you. Your fortress has superbly solid walls.
In retreat!
Bigger they are, easier they are to target. Thing about slings, they hide well.
Enough! I do not need to hear this. Kill her! Fools! I'm surrounded by fools! Archers, let it be night. Obscure the sun with arrows.
Ever have a stone knock out one of your teeth?
Nilfgaard!
Evil and us.
Cats out!
Tell me you jest.
Have it the white of an eye from half a league away.
What do you want of me?
we here?
You must sweat like a swine in that jacket.
Nothing personal, I assure you.
Brach! Scheiß! In! Zwei!
Everything all right?
Off to the front yet again.
I'd hoped we could solve this some other way.
Her Majesty is exceptional.
Quiet! Or the Commissar will hear.
Ludicrous! Give me some of that.
Brach! Scheiß! In! Zwei!
I warned you. Inarin jalde Kroifer.
Egreto dum anime est, spes est.
Where is he? Tell me where!
Nilfgaard had the upper hand, yet the black-clad spirits had suffered. They now made more use of shields than of swords. When Meve finally broke through their line, they raised their arms in surrender. Rivia Castle had fallen. It was hers once more.
Trocker! Nein zu Wien!
Meve showed her prisoners of war mercy, knowing full well they'd only followed orders. Death would be the fate of only Ardal ep Dahi, the one Nilfgaardian who'd issued those commands. Alas, the general had disappeared. A prisoner revealed ep Dahi had fled as soon as the Lyrians had surged towards the upper keep. He had glided down to the lower castle in a wicker basket for transporting food. Curled up beneath potato skins and other scraps, he'd scurried away not unlike a common maggot. Meve cursed her luck and leaned back against a merlin. Dawn was yet a few hours off, but the horizon had already begun to glow blood red. The Nilfgaardian reserves now drew near, too late to prevent the castle's fall.
I'll get him,
muttered the queen, more to herself than anyone else.
I swear on all that's sacred I'll catch the bastard. But now we've a pressing matter to see to. Preparing the defense.
That night the war turned, with the battle for Rivia Castle as its fulcrum. Meve's great victory, not only retaking the stronghold in a single evening, but also fending off a further invading army, proved the Nilfgaardian Colossus had feet of clay. The armies of the north had united and now seemed to be on the attack everywhere. Imperial forces, while still far more numerous, lay stretched over thousands of miles. Their position was untenable, and Nilfgaard's commanders knew this. In a decisive battle, they yet stood a chance, so they gave said battle, and suffered a resounding defeat. Just a few months on from that memorable night in Rivia, the Imperial army was in utter disarray. Aldersburg, the fortress, remained a last point of resistance. General ep Dahi and what had survived of Army Group East had dug in there, this place, where Nilfgaard had triumphed grandly in the war's early days, would now bear witness to its impending defeat. It seems history, after all, has a sense of justice, or humor, or both. Though Meve had already reclaimed her realm, she refused to retire her sword just yet. For King Demavend had requested her aid in purging Edirn of the invader. How could she refuse? She owed the king a favor, firstly. Yet she also had a burning desire to settle the score with ep Dahi.
Demavend's envoy and I spoke, Your Majesty. The king has Aldersburg surrounded. He awaits and won't begin the assault till you arrive.
Good. I truly hate to miss it. Tell the truth.
Of course, Your Grace.
Yes? Is there something else?
Pardon my boldness, Your Grace, but I can't help but be concerned. You don't sleep. You've the air of illness about you.
Reynard, I just buried my son.
Yes. Your Majesty, I wasn't sure Willem could ever wash away the shame. He'd betrayed his country, his mother, aligned with the feet, but his actions in Rivia washed away his wrongs. I don't say any of this to deepen your grief, Your Majesty. I mean merely for you to be proud of him.
You're right. I thank you, Reynard. That I needed to hear. We've talked enough.
Just watch and wait. I wager you'll chase the Emperor himself off the throne.
The Lyrian army had grown into a great serpent. So much so that riding at the column's tail, Niamh could not see its head. Footmen, cavalry, and archers stretched like a glistening snake between two horizons. Niamh had come a long way indeed. Suddenly, Niamh heard angry cries and the clash of steel against steel, all at the column's front.
Those ranks! To the left! March left! Support the flank!
Niamh drew her sword, spurred her horse, and galloped forward along the line of troops. Then, through the swirling battle dust, she spotted shimmering golden suns.